Hello! So today we're starting chapter 12, which is multiplying and dividing fractions. For today, we are going to do multiplying fractions and whole numbers. So I'm actually just going to get started and just kind of start from there. Okay, so the way this works is, let's start off with 8/12, okay, times, let's do 3/16. So you can do this one of two ways. You can actually just multiply straight across the top, and so it would be like 8 times 3 and you get 24. But then it kind of stinks because then you're like 12 times 16. That's a lot tougher of a number to work with. So one way that you can actually make this easy is reduce the numbers that are across from one another. Okay, so think of making like a giant X, like a multiplication sign. So then you'd come over here and you'd say 8 goes into 8 one time. 16 divided by 8 would be 2. So basically we're reducing them, okay? Here, these two numbers have 3 in common, so 3 divided by 3 would be 1. 12 divided by 3 would be 4. So now when we go to multiply these numbers, notice we're actually working with a lot smaller numbers. So we have 1 times 1, which would be 1. 4 times 2, which would be 8. So this is a lot smaller to work with, okay? Let's try another one. Let's do 2/8 times 2/6. Okay, so here again, you could go straight across, which is how you do when you do multiplication. Okay, so you could do 2 times 2 and you get 4. 8 times 6 and you get 48. But now you have to go, okay, I have to reduce it. So you'd have to be able to remember to reduce. Okay. I, to be completely honest, never do it this way unless you don't have a number that's in common. But here, if we were to do it this way, we'd have 2/8 times 2/6. If we did our little trick where we reduced first, okay, remember it has to be across from one another. You'd see, okay, what number can go into both 2 and 6, and 2 can go in there. So 2 divided by 2 would be 1, 6 divided by 2 would be 3, and then if you look at these two numbers, it's 2 and 8, so 2 can actually go into both of those. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4, okay? So 1 times 1, now you can do across, be 1, 4 times 3 would be 12. So you can do either way. The only thing that I love about this way, and this is the way I always do it, is you can reduce in advance. So I'm one of those that like to work with smaller numbers. So again, you can do it straight across, but this will be a lot less time consuming. Also, this is another reason too why, even if you get a free moment, practice your multiplication facts, because this will get a lot easier if you can know them like this, like snap of a finger. Okay? All right, let's do some in your book. And I do want to point out something as well. So in your book, they actually will give you a number and it will say, like look at number 1, it says on page 270, it says 1/7 of 14. Okay, so when you have of, this is actually the same thing as saying multiplying. Okay, So, and this is important to note because on your test they will try to throw this in and you'll have division and multiplication, but you need to know that of means is the same thing as saying times. So we have 1/7 times, and you know if you have a whole number, you put it over 1, okay? Because even if you did 14 divided by 1, it would still be 14. Okay, again, here you can either multiply straight across and do 14 over 7, or you can reduce. Okay, so these two can be reduced. 1 and 1 can't be reduced, but 14 and 7 both have 7 in common. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Okay, so our answer now is 1, or we're going to go 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. So our answer is 2 over 1, which is a whole number of 2. Okay? And you don't want to leave it like this because this is not proper. You know, like even when we do fractions, we don't leave them as improper fractions. So you want to add it as a whole number. Okay? So let's do a couple more. Okay, let's look at number 2. So we have 3 over 7, and then it says of 14 again. Okay. So again, 3 over 7 of is the same thing as saying multiplying. Okay, and then we're going to put 14 over 1 again. Okay. And then we're going to look here and say, does 3 and 1 have anything in common? No, so unfortunately we can't reduce those two. However, then we look at 4 and 7 and we see, oh, these ones have 7 in common. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Okay, so our answer would be 3 times 2, which would be 6. 1 times 1 is 1, so our answer is 6 over 1. Not proper yet, so we have to put it into its whole number form. Okay, and make sure too, whatever number you're deciding here, that you are dividing it by that same number on each side. Okay, so if we decided we wanted to reduce this, and again, you can multiply straight across and do 3 times 14 and get that number, and 7 times 1 and get that number, and then do the improper fraction. But I just, again, think this is easy to reduce this straight up. So, but the most common mistake that people do is they'll go, oh, 7 divided by 7 is 1, 14 divided by 2 is 7. So just make sure whatever number that you decide, you divide it and reduce it the same way, okay? All right, let's try number 3. So we have, so this time they did not use of, they actually just gave us the number. So that makes it easy. So 25 times 1/5. 25 times 1/5. So again, first thing you're going to do is to put this number over 1. Do 25 over 1 times 1/5. Okay? So again, you can look at these two numbers and see it actually makes a multiplication sign and see if anything can be reduced. In here, 1 and 1, we can't reduce those, but 25 and 5, we can. 5 goes into both of them. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Okay? So we have 5 over 1 or 5. And that's our answer. Okay? And then I'll do one more with you and then I'll let you work out some of your problems. We'll do number 4. So we have 25 times 4 over 5. Okay? So we're going to go 25 over 1 times 4 over 5. And again, if you wanted to go straight across, okay, you could, but then what you would be doing is 25 times 4, and then you'd have 100, and then you'd have 5, and then you'd have to make this into a mixed number, so you'd have to kind of simplify it. So here, I'm going to just do my trick. So 4 and 1 don't have anything in common, but 5 and 5 each have 5 in common. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, 25 divided by 5 is 5, okay? And here we'd have 20 over 1, so our answer would be 20 as a whole number. And if you had done this here, you could do the way that we've been doing it, but it just makes it a little easier. So 5 goes into 10 twice, 2 times 5 is 10, bring down our 0, 5 goes into 0 0 times, 0 times 5 is 0, and then, so our answer would be 20. Okay, so again, you can do it either way. I'm just showing you so that you can see that it's going to be the same answer either way. But the nice thing about this is you reduce it early on, so then that way you don't have to go through all of this here. Okay, and that is today's lesson. So if you have any questions, just send me a message, and I hope you guys have a great day today.